Hello everyone, it's Chaplain April, and I am back again a little bit, later in the year, but I think we can all agree that 2020 has been just um, completely out of the ordinary in every way imaginable. Kids are in school, they're out of school, then they're out for snow, they're this, it's just been insanity. And then I guess COVID has been very big, or the second wave or whatever has been pretty dire here in our state. So our kids have only been going 2 days a week since the beginning of the school year, and then there are things that have happened that they've only been going one of those days or maybe none of those days. Last week they had a friend whose parents thought they had COVID symptoms, so my kids didn't want to go to school because they were afraid that maybe they had caught it from the daughter, which they didn't, and everyone tested negative, which is great, and so they weren't exposed. But I told them, every time we think we're exposed, we could go down to the gas station and be exposed. We could go to the post office, which I go to every day. We could be exposed any day and not know it. So every time we think we might be exposed, we can't just miss school. And I, had a feeling that everything was okay, and I told them to go ahead and go, and they didn't. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. Why did I even bring that up? I don't know. But so today, I've done a couple of videos about things that I have found out in the wild, they call it, when you're out sourcing for things. And, things that I like, things I didn't like. I think last time I did a couple things that were ugly. And today I wanted to do items that I love. Now, there are so many that I almost can't, there's no way to show them all because there's so many that I love and that now I'm like collecting a little bit. I don't want to become like, crazy collector and have it everywhere, but I do have quite a bit now. I've now bought like 2 different curio cabinets and added a lot of things because these things bring me joy and I love looking at them, and I like just sitting there and looking at them, the way they were made, the colors, how the light shines off of them, etc. So it really is something that just makes you feel happy. It's kind of like fresh flowers, which none of us can really buy fresh flowers every day, but I can look at this glass and these things every day and it brings me that same kind of feeling. So I want to relate this to how God sees us, because God is the creator and he created all these different types of people. He didn't create us all the same. He didn't want us all to be the same. He wanted us all to be different. So we have, different races, different colors, different ethnicities, different languages, and all of it, if you look at it for what it is beautiful. And it's just like these items that I'm going to show right now. So let's get started with the items. What should I show first? This is a Fenton, which is a U.S. company that was in operation for like 100 years or something, and then they kind of, I guess the family got tired of selling, or I don't really know the story, but it was like in the early 2000s, I think, that they stopped making glass. But Fenton is something that is very sought after by collectors. And there are vases, bowls, there are various different, like lots of different things that Fenton made. I recently found out that they made nativity sets, and I love nativity sets, so I would love to get my hands on some of those, but they're pretty expensive because they don't make them anymore, obviously. And they're they're just beautiful. So, like I recently saw Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus, just 3 pieces of the set for $100, and that was on the low end. So, because it didn't have a box and all that, but someone that has a Fenton nativity, all the pieces, it's very nice. and also hard to find. So this is a Fenton rose bowl, and that's what they call that when it's crimped at the edge and kind of pulled all together here at the top. And it's also signed, so they would have people hand painting all of this. And there's the Fenton collectors that are really into it. They know who the painters were, and they want pieces painted by certain people. I'm not that far into it yet. I don't know who all the artists were. This says hand painted by E. Baumgard. And it actually says Fenton on the bottom. It's not a sticker. Some of them have stickers and some of them are stamped. But I love this color. This is a sea mist color is what they call it. It's iridized and hand painted with flowers. I mean, this brings me a lot of joy. It's almost like looking at fresh flowers every day. So I have this up in, I have a little alcove in my living room that is really, really big, and I never really knew how to decorate it, and I'm pretty good at decorating. I really like to decorate. So I mean, we've lived here 4.5 years, and the only thing I've ever had in there is these really tall, like, they look like candles, but they're not. But anyway, I just needed something really tall in there. Well, I finally, now that I've started collecting these things, and I have a friend that does it too, and we kind of do it together, and we go to estate sales and stuff together and look for these things, came up with this idea to put shelves up there. So I hired a handyman to come out and put these shelves up. I bought these shelves. They're Pottery Barn, very nice wooden shelves. There's 3 of them. And I had him come out because I wanted to make sure they were, you know, straight. And I'm gonna botch this if I try to do it myself, because it has to be straight. You don't want a shelf leaning when you put something on it, and you want them spaced out perfectly. So I had a handyman come, and then I also bought these lights to put on the sides, because I didn't want to have to put in, like, have an electrician come out and like put in lights and all that. So I bought these lights that they're battery operated, and where you just plug it in, I think it is, and it's kind of an LED light. So I put them on the side so it shines on all of the glass. So now I have that alcove just completely filled, and then I even have stuff under the shelves on the bottom, bowls and everything. I mean, I absolutely love it. Then next to that, I have a curio with a bunch of stuff. So on the shelves, the spacing didn't come out exactly the way I wanted. I wanted it spaced a little bit more, but because of the size of the opening, couldn't really do that. So I can't put really tall things on those shelves, and I can't put really thick and deep things on those shelves. They have to be kind of smaller and have to fit there. So anyway, maybe I'll show a picture of that one of these days. But that brings me so much joy. And then I was getting so much stuff that I loved that I had to buy another curio that I have somewhere else. And I thought, okay, that's it. I have to just keep the pieces that I absolutely love and get rid of some that I'm on the fence about. So I'm doing that. So here's another Fenton. This is a basket, and of course I love green, and this is one of my shades of green that I love. I call this an emerald green. This is a Fenton basket. This one has a sticker that says Fenton. It also has this little thing on here. It says marks of quality. Each Fenton basket carries an individual handler's mark. The highly skilled handler attaches a glowing gob of molten glass to the piece, creates his unique personal stamp with a special tool, and fashions a graceful arch. I didn't even know that. Thus, each Fenton basket proudly bears the signature of the artisan who helped produce it. And then it has a bunch of different handlers' marks. So I don't know what mine would be here. Oh, okay. Anyway, so I guess they were in handcrafted glass artistry since 1905. So it was over 100 years they were in business. So I have this basket up there, which I absolutely love. Original price was $36.50. I wonder what year that was. Who knows? But anyway, it's etched here. The handle is like a twisted. It's just very, very beautiful. This is also a Fenton piece. This is called Custard Glass. It's very muted. As you can see, it's totally different than this. This is, you can kind of see through, or, you know, it's more like glass. This is glass, but it's very muted. You cannot see through it. It's also, you know, hand painted here on the sides, the roses, and then it has this pink at top and it's ruffled edge, but it's not going in like the rose bowl is. So you see there's a little difference there. But they're both beautiful in their own right. It's just different. And the custard glass, it's also signed here. This glows under a black light. So I have a black light, and when you show it on here, it'll glow. There might be a little too much light in here to see that, but if it were dark, you know, it's just really pretty how it glows. And some people put the black lights in the curios and then they turn them on, or fill them with just things that glows. And there's also something called uranium glass, and that glows. And I have a couple of pieces of that, and then I have some other custard satin glass that I don't like as much as this. Oh, because this is Fenton Burmese. So the yellow with this pink is called, it's a line, it's called Burmese. And so I am wanting to collect a Burmese now, so I'm going to get rid of some of the other custard glass that I have that I don't like as much. But I do have a little swan here. This is a custard glass swan. See, it has the same kind of rose, the same coloring. Also hand painted. Also glows under a black light. This is a Fenton fairy lamp. So this comes off. This also comes off. I just guess it just comes apart. But you put a little tea light in here, and then it glows. This is the whole thing here. This is all hand painted. The scene on here is like, it's just mountains with a field and some trees. Very, very pretty. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I actually have never put the tea light in here and tested it, but I know that it would, I've seen them, how they glow, and it's very pretty. So the price on this, and this is hand painted, it says the person, everything. This is Fenton 100th anniversary. The regular price on this is $189. So these are very, you know, sought after, very expensive. I didn't pay that for it. I got it from a lady that, you know, gave me a deal on it, but it's totally, definitely worth that. This is something that I would sit and look at too. That is just absolutely gorgeous. I think that glows with a black light. I'm not sure. I think it does. My friend, the glass collector, would know. So here's something I got from her, because we had each had pieces that I liked. I had liked some stuff she had. She liked some stuff I had. So we started trading. So we did this one trade because I told her, you know, I like Murano. And she didn't think she had any Murano. But then when she found this glass in her stash, and her sister told her, you know what, that is Murano, Linda. And so she traded me this because she knows I like the green. She knows I like the pink and the green, and this all kind of goes together. And, you know, and it's white. And this is just, I just fell in love with this bowl. This is Murano, Italy, Italian glass. And I have this now in my entryway on a bowl stand. So it sits like this, so you can actually see the inside and how beautiful the colors are, rather than it just sitting like this. It's sitting up. And so I have bought several bowl stands now so that I can do that and enjoy the beauty of these bowls. Here's another bowl. So my friend and I went to this sale. We drove all the way to Tulsa. She has a knack for finding the sales with all the good items in them that no one else sees. So it should have been an estate sale, but they made it a garage sale, which who sells this high-end stuff at a garage sale? I don't even know. But anyway, we went. Everything they had was like spectacular. They had this beautiful vase that I now have. I didn't bring it, but it is green, beautiful green. You would call it etched glass, but it's actually cut to clear glass, just like this bowl. So I found this bowl online that matches the vase. And this has the jagged edge, and she says they call that Roxy glass when it has that jagged edge like this. This bowl is so beautiful. I mean, I absolutely love this bowl. You know, it's etched here. This is etched here. This here, where you can see that the roses, so it goes from green to clear here. This is actually cut inside the glass. That's why they call it cut to clear. They cut out the green in here to a clear, and you can just see how the green kind of bleeds over there. So it's absolutely true. So instead of just being edged, do I have an I don't think I have an example of an etched, but this is cut to clear glass. So it's way more expensive. Not only that, but it has the Star of David all the way around. I mean, I could not be more in love with this bowl. I mean, it's so spectacular. So this is not Fenton. Fenton doesn't do cut to clear, I don't think. This is like a Bohemian check glass, something like that. What does the sticker say? Handcrafted. I can't even read this. Crystal, handcraft, crystal clear something. I don't know. If I would need a magnifying glass to read this. But anyway, there's a lot of Bohemian check glass, which I have some of that. That is the cut to clear. I even have a white bowl that she traded me that's cut to clear. So it's like the white, and then it has inside the white part, it goes to clear like this. So it's really cool. So I have this and the vase, and then I also have a candle holder that I got to match it all together in one spot. I mean, that vase, they sold it to us, the vase, and they had a red one too, but I just couldn't buy everything. They had so much. They sold it to us for $60, and the vase is probably worth, oh, at least $150, maybe more. It's spectacular. I mean, it's this big. And there's another vase that we got from that sale. Oh shoot, I gotta be more careful. This is another vase that we got from that sale. Look how beautiful this is. Now, when I first saw there was two of these sitting on a table, and I thought they were lampshades, so I never say anything about them because I didn't need to buy a lampshade. But then I started looking at them, and I said, are those vases? And she said, yes, they are. And I said, how much do you want for those? And I thought she was gonna say, you know, 50 each or something. She gave me like this really lowball price, and I said, well, who makes them? So she didn't even know. The lady didn't know what she had. Oh shoot, it's the other one that has the sticker on it. Darn it, now I can't remember who made them. But this is absolutely beautiful, sheer iridized, pearlized, whatever you want to call it, because you can see the pink and the green in here that matches all my other colors. I almost fainted. My friend was about to faint because they had so many things. They had some epergnes, they had vases, they had all these things they had gotten from an estate sale, and they were just getting rid of them. They didn't want them anymore. So I got these two vases this size for a steal. They are probably worth $350, $400, maybe more than that for these vases. And I mean, these are like totally irreplaceable. So when we were driving home, I was like, make sure these are secure. I don't want to lose these vases. But they have a certain name, and I can't remember who it is that made them. But my friend recognized it. It started with a C. I just can't even remember what it was. But I mean, I could run and look here in a minute, but whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So then, you know, I started finding things. This is a rose bowl that's just pink glass. Who made this? I don't know. There's a lot of glass makers. There's like Jeanette Glass and, you know, all these different ones. I can't remember who made this, but I just loved it because it's a rose bowl. It's not the same rose bowl as this, but it is a rose bowl. And so yeah, it goes with my colors, it goes with my scheme. So I, you know, have that in one of my curios. Look at this lovely urn. Okay, I know it's an urn, but I looked it up today so that I could tell you the right thing here. Where did that go? This is vintage Westmoreland hand-painted milk glass urn. So milk glass is very common. You go to the thrift stores and you will find milk glass, but there's different makers. I've learned all this from my friend. There's different makers that make milk glass. So, and different styles, different patterns and all of that. So Westmoreland, this is one of their signature things. I forget what they call this here. This etching here is called something, but you know, it's got the gold rim, which my china has. It just matches everything. You know, it's got the green and pink. It's just absolutely beautiful. Now my friend, I found this at a thrift shop. These are probably worth $35 or so, and I think I paid $10 for it, but I could not let this go and sell it because it's too beautiful. And there's some that have a bow. The one I'm looking at online has a bow here. It's just so Victorian classic that I absolutely love this. You know, I don't want to put anybody's ashes in here. No, thank you. But I like to just look at it, and then it's nice to have some white that contrasts a lot of the greens and stuff that I have. So it's really nice to have that. And I just love it, and it's a vintage item. You know, it's not a common item that you would find. Now here is one of my absolute favorite items of all time. I found this on Facebook Marketplace, you guys, okay? I love Swarovski crystal, okay? This is a Swarovski crystal butterfly. Now look at how absolutely spectacularly beautiful this butterfly is. I mean, I don't know how many facets it has. It's kind of like a diamond where they cut it into facets and it shines in the light. I mean, it is so gorgeous. When I saw that someone here in town was selling this for, I think it was $30 or something, I zoomed right over there and gave them cash and picked it up, and it came in the Swarovski box. So this is probably worth $70 or more. I mean, it's the small. I paid quite a bit for a Swarovski swan that I thought was large, but it came and it was like this big. So for something to be this big and it to be Swarovski crystal and to cost only $30 or $35, whatever it was, is insane. And when I put this in my curio, it just shines and sparkles, and it gives it such an extra layer of pretty color to it. So that everything, I don't want everything to be matchy-matchy. I want it to be like a variety, but also not look hodgepodge. And this has the same pinks and greens and all that in there. And it's just so pretty. And like when my husband and I went to Germany a couple years ago, we were at Ramstein Air Force Base. We stayed there for several nights. They have a Swarovski crystal store there. They have like a little mall there, and there's all these stores, and you know, food court and everything, and it's all like duty-free or tax-free. So whenever I see the tax-free, I'm like, well, I want to get something. So I got a necklace and a pair of earrings that are Swarovski crystal. I should have worn it today. It kind of looks, it's kind of got this same shape, but it's like flowers, Swarovski flowers, and then the, you know, in just like a small part right here, and then the chain, and then the earrings are flowers, and I wear that all the time. I got it duty-free. I've always loved Swarovski crystal. So then I got the butterfly, so then I'm like, I love swans. That's like my favorite, you know, animal. And not that I want to collect them and have swans everywhere, but I just like them. They're very graceful. You know, I like the way their neck kind of, you know, curves over, and then when they swim, they just swim very peacefully and gracefully. And my friend was doing this riddle with me the other day, and she's like, if you could be any animal, what would it be? And I said a swan. And then there was all these other questions. I was like, whatever. But anyway, so supposedly that's the way I want people to see me. Who knows if that's true, but if that's the case, why not? Swans are amazing. So I got, since I had that little tiny swan, I was like, no, I want a big swan. So I ordered this Swarovski crystal. This might have been an auction. Sometimes they only put things on auction if they're rare and, you know, no one can get them, and then they want to see who's the highest bidder or whatever. So I had to pay up for this because it's large. But it doesn't glow as much as the butterfly. For some reason, the butterfly has more color in it, and I just love this. I don't know why. I don't know if there's different lines of Swarovski and that's why they have different colors or whatever. This is just pretty much just clear, but it still has the facets and the light still shines off of it and everything. So love this. I only have a few more things here to show, and then we'll get into the little Bible study. So this is a Fostoria basket. Fostoria is also a glass maker that made vintage glass, or glass that's now vintage. But these also come in life size, and I think I had a Fostoria life size, or I still do, for sale or whatever. But I thought, you know, I can't keep everything, and I can't keep all these huge items. You know, I have to pick and choose the ones I like the most. So I keep this in my curio, but I'm not going to keep the life size one. I do have a life size L.E. Smith basket that is clear. This one is edged, I guess you could say. This is edged here with the flowers, and then, you know, the handle is decorative. It's got a scalloped edge, just very pretty, you know. And then I have this bowl. This is kind of like the butterfly because it has all the colors that the butterfly has. But who makes this? Oh, I wish Linda were here because she could tell me. I can't remember. But anyway, one of the glass companies. This is vintage also. You know, it kind of looks like a cross here all the way around. It's just like a, what would you call it? A tulip or some kind of flower. So I have this on a stand, you know, so I want all of my colors to go together and, you know, reflect each other and kind of play off of each other in kind of the same color group. So like my colors that I decorated in, like in my first really nice house that I had in my first marriage, I decorated in red, gold, and green. And I love those colors. And so this is kind of the same, but it's kind of more pink, gold, and green. Even though I do have some reds, I have a Fenton red basket and a couple things, but I will only pull those out probably for holidays. I'm not gonna like keep them out for decoration. So it's gonna be more the pink, green, and gold, which is almost the same. But I just always kind of gravitate back to those colors. Those are the colors that I like to decorate with. So my friend also had these candlesticks that are cut to clear, just like that bowl and the vase that I have. She had these cut to clear candlesticks that are green. So, and then this other beautiful spectacular bowl. So I have that bowl and these candlesticks in my kitchen on the island, so that I can even walk in the kitchen and see beautiful glass. So I'm like totally into this now. But I absolutely love these. I mean, these are part of my pride and joy. Last thing I'm going to show, there was another thing I wanted to show that my friend traded with me, and I couldn't believe she traded with me. But when I saw it, I fell in love, because what happened was when I was married prior, we had a set of china that I loved. I picked out the pattern, I built it up over the years, I bought more and added to it and had this whole china thing, you know, hutch full of stuff. Well, when we divorced, he kind of kept all the china, and that was kind of my decision too. I thought, oh, he's going to use it for the kids, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he ended up doing with it, but that has always been something that bothered me. I like the china. I like china. I like to have a china cabinet. I want to have my stuff all there, you know. So for you know, holidays and special occasions, I can pull it out and have a nice, you know, setup. Well, I didn't want to get the same china that we had. I wanted to get something new since I'm remarried. So I picked a pattern that was not the same, but it was similar, but I was still never that in love with it as much as I was the other one. I went over to my friend's house one day and she had this pattern, china pattern. She only had a few pieces of it and it was called Fitz and Floyd Luxor. And I mean, I looked at it and I thought, that is the china of my dreams. I mean, that is the china of my dreams. I don't know what else to tell you. And she said she could see the look on my face. Actually, I'm gonna go get a piece because this is too hard to describe. Okay, so I ran out to get this. Check this out. This is Fitz and Floyd Luxor. Okay, so look at this pattern. And it's very similar to the pattern that I used to have, but it's even bolder and brighter, and it's luxe, I guess you could say. So, and I love the gold. And what I had done with my new china is I thought, well, maybe instead of gold, I'll go platinum because it's just different than what I used to have, blah, blah, blah. Well, I didn't love that because I love the gold color. So now I was trying to find something gold, but that pattern didn't come in gold anyway. So now I'm like trying to buy up all the Fitz and Floyd Luxor because I am totally in love with this pattern now. This pattern is not made anymore. So if you find it, like she had one of these octagon bowls and I bought another bowl on eBay. And then I found a set of plates. It wasn't cheap, but I went ahead and got the plates. I mean, you're gonna have them forever, so why not? So I got like 6 plates, I think. And then I'm just gonna mix and match with the china that I have. I'm not gonna get like, you know, 12 place settings of this, but I have a bowl, I have a couple of platters, and now the plates. So now it all kind of goes together. So at Thanksgiving, we used these bowls. We did like mashed potatoes in one and stuffing in another one, and I used these platters that I got from her too, and everything just kind of flowed so well. And then I decided I'm gonna switch out the candlesticks and stuff. So I have like brown glass candlesticks and things for Thanksgiving meal, and then I'm gonna do for Christmas I'm gonna do green and red glass. So I have some green goblets and then some other red stuff. Anyway, now I'm just rambling about stuff. But look at this Lenox nativity, what do you call it, Christmas ornament that I found. Oh, it still even has a sticker on it. Hello. Better take that off. So that Luxor fits right in with my Lenox, classic Lenox colors that I like, which is the cream and gold. So, you know, I found this for $3 at a thrift shop and just put it in with my collection. I mean, you know, it's just perfect. Another thing that I love nativity sets. I have a couple of them. Haven't really put them out too much this year because we have 2 cats, and the younger cat has now broken lots of ornaments. He actually was climbing up the tree, literally climbing up the tree. Our other cat used to bat the ornaments and stuff, but she never climbed. This one is a climber. He hasn't done that now. I think he got it out of his system, but I'm like, if you break my glass, heads are gonna roll. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, so here, this is another Fenton piece. It has a sticker, so anything with the sticker is just even more desirable to have the sticker for some reason. Just people love that. But it also is embossed Fenton down here. It's hand painted, da-da-da. Look how spectacular this is. I've got to turn this. This is so bright because the snow out there. The snow, it's just like right in my eyes. The sea mist color, just like that rose bowl I showed earlier. So I like the sea mist, I like the emerald, all of that. This is just hand painted all over with flowers, and it's also got the iridescence to it. So this is another thing that I love. They call this vase a Jack in the Pulpit vase. So it's like, what is it, a lily? you know. It's supposed to be a lily, and they are called Jack in the Pulpit vases. I have 2 of these now that are very, very similar, so I can have one on each side of whatever, my curio or whatever. Absolutely love these. Okay, 2 more things. So, speaking of Swarovski crystal, I also found this on Facebook Marketplace. This is a Swarovski crystal unicorn, okay? And it has different crystals on it, different colors, but of course it's the green and pink and the gold. So I didn't pay much for this. Someone was just selling it and I just ran over and got it. Because in one of my videos I was talking about unicorns and how we're all a unicorn. And then I heard this lady who is a prophet who has gone to heaven several times. I know you think I'm loony for believing this, but I do believe God brings people wherever he wants to bring them in the spirit realm. He has brought her to heaven and has mandated her to, or given her the go ahead to tell everyone about heaven. He wants us to know what it's like. So he takes her to heaven. She comes back. She tells people what it's like. She says that there are unicorns in heaven. So I'm all about the unicorns now. I love unicorns. And because they are rarely seen, and people don't know a lot about them, but I think that a lot of people are unicorns. So I guess I consider myself a unicorn, and I just love that. Last thing, this was a sale that my friend went to, and she called me and she said, April, you have to get right down here. And I said, I can't, because I'm with my sister and I don't want to cut my time with my sister short. And she said, well, they have this stuff and you're really gonna like it. There's this one green bowl and you have to have it. So I PayPal'd her some money. She bought it for me, and here it is. Now look at this, okay? This is a, what do they call it? Ruffled bowl? Handkerchief bowl. And this, she said she had never seen this pattern before. So this is like practically antique. That's how old it is. You do not ever see this pattern. It did have a crack in it, which she helped me kind of try to repair or keep it from cracking any further. She has a way to do that. But she knows I love this green, and it is sparkly. It's kind of like the sea, And these bowls, I have 3 of the handkerchief bowls now. I have 2 Fostoria ones. This one is Fenton. This is something I will treasure for the rest of my life. I would never let go of this bowl. I mean, that's how much I am in love with it. And I'm not a materialistic person, but I do believe in treasuring things, and things that are old like this that are not replaceable, I would not get rid of. That's kind of like my name brand purses and shoes and stuff. I typically don't get rid of those because those are not replaceable. Like, I'm not going to go out and buy those again, so I keep them forever. I just rotate them. So if you see me with a new purse, it's not really a new purse. It's one that I'm just rotating because I have tons of them and I just pull them out at different times. Once in a while I'll add one too, but I don't ever get rid of them. Once in a while I will get rid of some stuff, but it's not my favorite stuff that I keep forever. This is a favorite that I will keep forever. And so antique is 100 years and older. Vintage is 20 years and older. Some people think it's 30 years and older. So I don't know if this really is antique, but it's close. It's old. Very, very old. So I said all of this to say that God, now imagine all of these beautiful different things. They're different colors, they're different shapes, they're different sizes, they're different patterns. But we can all agree they're beautiful items. It's just like people. God has different people on this earth, different everything, sizes, ethnicities, colors, all of it. And they're all beautiful in their own right. There's beautiful people all around the world in every country that you go to. the same beautiful as someone else, and that person is not the same beautiful as that person, but they are beautiful. So like this bowl is not the same beautiful as that bowl, but they're both beautiful. They're beautiful in their own way. This one's green, this one is cream and gold. You know, they have a different use. This one you can actually put food in. This one is just for decorative. So there's different beauty. And my point that I want to drive home today is that God created all of this beauty. He created all of this beauty, and to be different and to be kind of cohesive in our differences. He doesn't want us to be the same. And that's the beauty in it. It's all different and beautiful. But because we live in this fallen world, and that's the scripture that I'm going to read right now. Where did my notes go? Well, I got ahead of myself. So first I wanted to say that God molds us. So I bought 2 items that I wanted to show you for this specific video, okay? So this is pottery. Oh, I did bring one other thing I was going to show. What did I do with it? Let me go get that. Okay, so this is a Capodimonte porcelain rose. And Capodimonte is Italy also, and it says so here on the bottom. And this is 1987, so this is vintage, but it's very detailed. Most of the time if you find a Capodimonte, it will be broken because it's very, very hard to keep all of these delicate flowers from breaking when you move them, and you know, people donate them to thrift shops, etc. You know, it's almost impossible to find something that is not broken. If I've ever come across anything like this in the thrift shop, there's always a chip. It's chipped somewhere because this is very, very delicate. This is porcelain. So we all get chipped in this life, if not broken, because we are living in a fallen world where evil is present. So when we start out in life, we are like this pot here. This is not porcelain, it's just like pottery, you know, clay, probably some type of clay. I bought this just for the purpose of this video because this gold streak running through here is the Art of Kintsugi, and I'm gonna read to you what that is. So Kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery using lacquer mixed with gold, silver, or brass. The one that you see the most is the one mixed with gold, or that gold color. It says, when we are broken like this pottery, we can begin to heal. When mended back together, we become stronger, wiser, and more beautiful. Our wares are either handmade, found or gifted items. A handful are new. Some had previous lives and became worn and broken. After being repaired, they go back out into the world for a whole new life. So these people repair these broken items. And that is what I am trying to get at, that God does with us. So we start out whole, like any of these objects that I've shown today. And then we either get chipped, like the Capodimonte, leaf, because some of us are very delicate and we can get chipped very easily if we're not taken care of. And then some are just shattered, broken, thrown down, whatever. Whatever your story is in life and whatever you feel like you've gone through that has done that to you. I love the Art of Kintsugi because this is a representation of what God does for us. So if this piece of pottery were to fall and shatter in all these pieces, okay, then the artist, the Kintsugi artist, would try to put them back together, and then put that lacquer with the gold in it. So then the vase becomes completely and utterly unique, that can never be replicated, really, because things do not break in the same way. If you had two of these vases and you broke both of them, they would break in different ways, in different pieces. So now when it puts back together, it is completely one of a kind and unique. Here is an example of another kintsugi. This is a bowl. Now this one here, you can tell that they just did this. This was not actually broken. They just kind of made a well of line in here and did this just to show how kintsugi is done. This one you can tell was actually broken pieces that they put back together. You can feel it, you can tell they actually did this. Now look how beautiful that is. So if you had this bowl and it broke and you really loved it, you know, maybe it was your grandmother's bowl, or who knows, you know, it was in your family forever or something and it broke, you'd be maybe heartbroken. Like, I cannot replace that. That was my grandmother's bowl, you know. You could send it to the kintsugi artist and they would put it back together for you. Now, of course, if there's little shards and all of that, and, you know, there's too many small little pieces, maybe they wouldn't. But this is just an example of what God does for us. When God puts us back together, it's actually perfect. So this is kind of flawed. You can tell it's been put back together. But to look at it, you know, you're not going to put food in this now because it, you know, might have some kind of a hole. It's just not going to be exactly like it was. But when God puts us back together, we can actually be better than we were. So the enemy's going to tell you you'll never be repaired. You're going to be worse than ever, and you're going to be ugly now because you're broken. God says, I can restore anything. I am all powerful. And I can do the Art of Kintsugi on you, but I can also do it even more perfect than this. He would do it to where there are no holes, there are no chips, there are no rough edges, if you let him. And you can be put back together and be more unique, more special, and more one of a kind than you ever were, and possibly even more beautiful, because the gold is so beautiful. And one of my CPE teachers, which is clinical pastoral education that you take to become a chaplain, one of them had told me they were going to make these paintings for each student, and they wanted to know, you know, what each student liked, blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, you're like a clay pot and you have a gold streak running through you. And I think got rid of that at some point. This was so long ago. But I used to have that hanging, and it was this gold pot, and it was just like this, and it had like this gold thread. She said, you have a gold thread running through your life. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's God. That's God, you know, leading me on his path. That's kind of how I took it. But let's look at the biblical implications of all this. So God made us, molds us how he wants us. So at first we're just a piece of clay. He molds us and then makes us without, you know, these lines, because we're not broken yet. So that's Isaiah 64:8. And today I have the Living Bible, and because it was the only one I could find around here, I don't know, I think my other Bible's in my bedroom or something. I have a couple here stacked up, but I can't use those. So it says, and yet, O Lord, you are our Father. We are the clay and you are the potter. We are all formed by your hand. So if you believe that God created us, and we are all formed by his hand, starting with Adam. He used the clay from the ground to make Adam. That's why this is so, you know, similar to what I'm talking about with the pots and the breaking. So because we live in the fallen world, we get broken. So I wrote down Romans 5:12. Let's look that up. When Adam sinned, sin entered the entire human race. His sin spread death throughout all the world. So everything began to grow old and die, for all sinned. So because Adam sinned, and if you're a Christian, you know the story. I don't want to belabor the point or anything, but so there was no evil in the Garden of Eden until sin happened. So when sin happened, now there's evil. I guess you could say the serpent was there, but there wasn't really evil permeating. It didn't really have a right. It didn't really have permission. But after Adam and Eve sinned, then it gave permission, and it made the world fallen. In other words, Adam and Eve were sent out of the Garden of Eden, which was perfect, which God molded to be perfect, like that perfect pot or bowl. And now they had to be sent out because they went against. Sin is just going against God, going against what God wants and what God set in place, his orders, his laws. That's all sin is. Doesn't mean you murdered someone. Just means you went against, God's precepts. And that was a main thing that they went against. He told them not to eat of the tree of good and evil, because he didn't want their eyes to be open to evil. He didn't want them to have to experience evil. But since they didn't believe what he told them, and they believed the serpent who lied to them, sin was able to come in. Now evil is in the earth. Now evil has permission to be here and to do harm. That is why we now live in a fallen world where evil exists and persists. Is that God's plan? Is that what God wants for us? Absolutely not. So, God gets all the flack for all the evil and all the bad and all the sin that happens. Not just the sin, but all of the evil that men do on earth, because God gave them their own free will. So he can't force you. He won't force you to be good or evil. But you have a choice. So because of the choices of a lot of different people, it's not just our choices anymore. It's the choices of our government and the people that are in charge of us and in authority and all that. All those choices trickle down. Evil is permeating the earth. There's lots of evil happening on the earth. I mean, you know about all of it. I know about all of it. It's, very poor and famine and people being oppressed and kept down and slavery and all of those things. Those are evils that God does not want. But until the man in charge of them changes their mind, the men in charge of them, men and women in charge, change their hearts and their minds and allow God to redeem them, then this evil is going to persist. And until Jesus comes back and, all of that, the world is going to have evil in it. What am I trying to say? I got way off track here. But the point of this is that God can and will repair us. Just like a Kintsugi artist can take the broken pieces of that piece that broke, and I kept this plate. This is actually something I was selling on eBay, and of course it fell and broke because I have stuff everywhere out in the garage, and several things have broken. I just bump something or whatever and it falls and breaks. So of course I can't sell this anymore. I wish I would have kept the little piece that I had, and I thought about I'll just hammer this and break it, but I thought, let's not go that far. But they would take the broken pieces and they would put that, what did they call it? They would put that paste or whatever it is with the gold on it and put it back together, and it would actually be more beautiful now. It has the gold streak running through it. So Psalm 30 verse 2 is what I wrote down for how God repairs us. Let's read this. O Lord my God, I pleaded with you and you gave me health again. You brought me back from the brink of the grave, from death itself, and here I am alive. And then Jeremiah 17:14. Let's look at that. I didn't even have time to put little markers in here. I'm just going to have to look it up. 17:5. The Lord says, Cursed is the man who puts his trust in mortal man and turns his heart away from God. Is that what I was wanting? No, 17:14. Sorry. That sounds like a judgment. Anyway, okay, 17:14. Lord, you alone can heal me. You alone can save, and my praises are for you. So God can heal us. And actually, for the Kintsugi workers, this is limited what they can repair. If the pot or the bowl is shattered into too many pieces, I really doubt they can actually repair that. It has to be, not so bad. They're limited by our physical world. God is not limited. God is all powerful. He can do absolutely anything. If when we are raised from the grave, we're going to get our old bodies back and he's going to put those back together. And even if you're cremated or whatever, it's some kind of miraculous thing that he does in the spirit realm that we cannot do. God can do that. If you are shattered into a million pieces, the Kintsugi artist and physical people are not going to be able to put you back together, but God absolutely can. It doesn't matter how many pieces you're shattered. It doesn't matter how low you've gotten. It doesn't matter how bad you think it is. Nothing is too hard and too bad for God. So how will God put you back together? Let's look at Matthew 19:26. Jesus looked at them intently and said, humanly speaking, no one, but with God, everything is possible. So I just answered that with my other comment of how God is all powerful. Everything and anything is possible with him. Miracles are still done today, even creative miracles. So I urge you to, if you are a Christian, go deeper into it. Go deeper into the Spirit. Go deeper into Christianity, because you will find how many things that we are missing out on that we are not tapping into. God does so much, and he can do so much, but we're limited by our belief and our faith and, whatever. Our lack of faith, I should say. So 2 Corinthians 5:17 is going to tell us how, there are ways that God can repair you. 2 Corinthians 5. Okay. When someone becomes a Christian, he becomes a brand new person inside. He is not the same anymore. A new life has begun. So starting with salvation is the beginning of his repairing of you. So when you accept Christ into your heart, you believe that God sent him down here as his son to redeem us from our sins, to redeem what Adam and Eve did. That's basically all it is. That's it in a nutshell, pure and simple. Then he will save you. In other words, Jesus will come into your soul, okay? Not physically, but he's coming into your soul, and he's going to transform you into a new person. Some people can have that happen in an instant, and they're totally changed. They give up every addiction. There's radical salvations. There's other salvations that that happen, and then the process is slow. They might take them 10 years to renew, to get different, to change. That has to do with things that you're harboring in your heart, bitterness or whatever, all of it. It can be a little complex. But when you get saved, the process starts. And he will start putting the pieces back together. You have to let him also. Remember your free will. So if you're going to say, Lord, I don't want you to work in this area of my life, I only want you to work in this area, then you will see that area that you allow him to work in becoming better. You'll see that area repairing and renewing and having that gold thread through it, or platinum, or whatever color you like. Maybe you like turquoise. Maybe he can do a turquoise thread in your life. I don't know. Personally, I like gold, so that's why I like the Art of Kintsugi. But if you don't let him come into that other area of your life because you're not ready to forgive, you're not ready to give up the bitterness, you're not ready to really be a radical Christian, you just want to be on the fence, then he's not going to be able to repair that part of your life. You have to allow him to. So now we're going to look at, okay, so I touched on this, but let's read John 10:10, where it says the thief is the one that comes to steal, kill, and destroy. John 10:10. The thief's purpose is to steal, kill, and destroy. My purpose is to give life in all its fullness. So the thief is the enemy, which is Satan, which he is the one that was the serpent. The serpent, Satan had taken the form of a serpent. And so we're talking about the same entity here. It's the serpent, it's Satan, it's Lucifer, the one that fell from heaven, that is wreaking havoc on the earth, that is pouring evil into the earth. He hates us. He especially hates us if we're Christians, and if we're devout, hates us all the more. And he wants to come and steal, kill, and destroy you. None of those three things does God ever want for you and ever want in your life. He never wants anything to be stolen from you. He never wants anything in your life to be killed and dead, and he doesn't want you to be destroyed. Those are things that the thief, which is the enemy, which is Satan, and our lingo in Christianese is the enemy. We call him the enemy because he is our enemy. So that's who God is talking about here in John 10:10. The thief is the enemy. He's the one that's trying to break you. He's the one that's trying to hit at your bowl, your vessel, you as a jar of clay that God created. He's the one breaking us down day by day. He's the one chipping at us. He's chipping away at these leaves. And the more delicate they are, the harder he chips away. And that's why you have to hold on to God, because God is the one that repairs. And so it's saying here in verse 10, my purpose, God's purpose, is to give life in all its fullness. And that would be kind of like this Jack in the Pulpit vase. This is life in all its fullness right here. It's got the most beautiful color. It's perfect. It's not chipped. It's not broken. It's full. It's got color. It's hand painted. It's even iridized. As far as a green vase goes, this would be a green vase in all its fullness. Maybe you want to be a red one or purple or something. I don't know. But what God could do is remake that vase if it did break. Men can't do that, but God can. And I believe, and we all have to believe. So to end this, I am going to, did I read 2 Corinthians 5:17? Okay. Yeah, I think I did. And Matthew 19:26. Oh, I didn't read Matthew 19:26, did I? Can't even remember what I did now, guys. Okay, that's typical. Nothing new. Jesus looked at them intently and said, humanly speaking, no one, but with God, everything is possible. So that is what the verse that I needed to drive that home. You don't think it's possible with God? It is absolutely possible with God. Everything and anything is possible if you believe that he is all powerful. He is all powerful. There's nothing more powerful. And in the end, it says in Revelation 21:4, in the end, he will take away every tear. Let's read it. Oh, I'm getting parched. Revelation 21:4 is, he will wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, no more sorrow, nor crying, nor pain. All of that has gone forever. He's talking about whenever we get to heaven, this life will be over. All of the harshness and the hard things of this life are going to be over. He's going to wipe away all our tears, and we'll never have to go through that again, because evil is not in heaven. There's no evil allowed in heaven. There's no bad. There's no hurt. There's no pain. That's here on the earth. And those people that believe that that shouldn't be, they're right, because we belong in heaven where that's not possible. That's why Jesus had to come and give us the power that we need on this earth to live as pain-free as we can with the spiritual tools that he's given us. That's why we need to tap into those. He's trying to tell you, look, I've given you tools to battle the enemy while you're here on the earth until you get to heaven. If you don't use those tools, I don't know what to tell you. You've got to use those tools. So Isaiah 25:8. I don't remember what that was, but let's read it. 25:8. He will swallow up death forever. So let's read 7. At that time, he will remove the cloud of gloom, the pall of death that hangs over the earth. He will swallow up death forever. The Lord God will wipe away all tears and take away forever all insults and mockery against his land and people. The Lord has spoken. He surely will do it. So what I urge you to do today is to believe. First of all, believe that there is a spirit world. We all know there's things going on in the earth that are unjust. That actually keeps a lot of people from believing in God. But the problem is, the reason why you're wrong and is because you're blaming God for the wrongs on the earth. But those wrongs are not God. Those wrongs are the enemy. So I urge you to really think about that and take that to heart and believe it. And the enemy wants to break you down. God will never break you down. He might test you, but he's not going to crack you and chip you and break you. He's not going to do that. The enemy wants to do that because he doesn't want your specific message to be heard on the earth. You're here for some specific purpose. I don't know what it is. You've got to find out from God what that is. But you are here for some specific purpose. And the enemy doesn't want you to fulfill that. And so he's breaking you down. But if you believe God can restore, heal up every wound and make you new again, like I know he can, then go start on that journey and say, you know what, Lord, yeah, I only let you into this one side of my life, but I want you here, I want you here, I want you all over. I want to be completely whole and repaired because I want to fulfill my purpose for being on this earth. And I know that one day I won't have to battle the enemy. I won't have to worry about being broken again. So that's my message for you guys today, is to call out to God and ask him for health and wealth. Ask him for restoration, and he is there for you. So you guys take care. I'll see you in the next video. Oh, I forgot to say this in the video, but this came with my little Art of Kintsugi thing, and it says, there's a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in. And there's also a Hemingway quote that says that we are all broken, and that's how the light gets in. So that's another way to look at it. The light gets in. Jesus is the light. He's going to shine through the broken places. He's also going to repair them. So a lot of people say that they still have the scars, from when they've been wounded or whatever. But the thing is that they shine now. God shines through those scars. So that's another way that we can look at it. But rest assured that God is here to heal and restore. And that there's no dispute of.